Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are joining us today. Welcome to the Salesforce Admins webinar, Essential Habits for New Admins. I am Rebecca Sarr, Marketing Programs Manager on the Salesforce Admins Marketing and Relations team. I'm excited to be here. Before we get started, we have our trusty forward-looking statement. As a reminder, Salesforce is a public-facing company. Please make all of your purchasing decisions based on current features and functionality. And don't forget to get social with us. We are on Twitter at Salesforce Admins, no I, because there's no I in admins. And you can also follow the hashtag AwesomeAdmin. We're also on Facebook and YouTube as Salesforce Admins. And if you'd like to see these slides and take notes, go to bit.ly/adminhabits and you can download them. And be sure to join us in the success community. We have the Salesforce Admins webinar group, and that is where we will be answering all your questions. You join right now. We have people on hand that can answer your questions right away. The short link is bit.ly/admin webinar group. Be sure to capitalize A-W-N-G. It is capitalized sensitive. So before we start developing our habits, I wanted to highlight Trailhead. Trailhead is a fun way to learn Salesforce. And as a new admin, this is a great place to start skilling up. Trailhead is a gamified learning platform with different challenges for you to complete and badges to earn, as well as points. There are trails and badges specifically for admins, so you can start with the admin beginner trail and make your way through all the different trails and really get a great understanding of Salesforce. As you can see here, our Salesforce MVP, Cheryl Feldman, proudly displays all the badges she's earned and the rank of being an adventurer. So once you start completing lots of badges, you'll have a really great profile similar to this, which you can share on your LinkedIn or on your resume. Another reason I wanted to bring up Trailhead right now is because we will be pointing out different badges that coincide with the content that we're covering. So if at any point you want to dig deeper and learn more, there's a badge you can follow up with after this. So first I wanted to kind of go over why it's so important that we develop awesome habits for awesome admins. The goal is really to help you keep in touch with your users' needs, to keep you aligned with organizational policies, keep your organization informed with Salesforce changes and improvements, to make sure you're in touch with the community, and to keep your skills honed. This is what all these great habits will help you do. And it's important that you're successful at your job because the admin's role is really at the center of it all. You're at the center of your company's processes. You are the one that talks to the sales team about managing their opportunity processes. You are talking to marketing maybe about their leads. If you're using Service Cloud, you're possibly talking to your customer support team to help improve their processes. You're talking to leadership about creating great dashboards. You're really the person that knows all the different processes and ways of working of each department, and you're the glue that's connecting them all and making sure that the company's moving smoothly. And you're doing that with using Salesforce. So with all these responsibilities that you're shouldering, it's important to develop the habits that will make you successful. We've broken it down by frequency. So we have daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly habits. So we're going to start with the daily habits, bite-sized ones to engage. So as a Salesforce admin, it's important that you're the Salesforce ambassador and leader. So you want to be engaging with your users to understand how Salesforce is being used and so that you can make it better and better. the best way to do that is to practice SABWA, which is Salesforce administration by walking around. One way to do that is to just grab a coffee with a user in the morning and sit with them and have them do their daily tasks that they usually do in Salesforce right there in front of you. So you can take note of how they're using the product and possibly ways that you can improve their process or make their lives easier. Also, as a Salesforce ambassador, show your users how you go mobile. Take notes and post tips from Salesforce One app while you're there doing SABWA. You might not have your laptop, so you definitely can be using your phone. And you can be using the Salesforce A app to administer from anywhere. So if you run into someone who's locked themselves out, you can help them reset their password right then and there. Another important daily habit is to use the power of chatter groups. Chatter groups are great for housing key information, files, and conversations around a certain topic. For example, a great chatter group to create is a Salesforce support group. That way, instead of having people email you when they have questions or they're locked out or things like that, you can have them join the chatter group and ask the questions right there. And a great thing about that is if the question's been asked before, other people will be able to see your answers, and possibly even your super users will start to be able to answer questions for you. That will definitely help with your workload. You can bulk add contacts to a group with Data Loader. And another great way to use chatter groups is to gather user feedback. So here at Salesforce, when we were moving to Lightning, the admins here created a Salesforce Lightning Experience group. And that's where all of our employees could go in and give feedback for things that they would like to see or questions they had. There's ways to do polls and ask questions and do announcements, so there's a lot of great functionality. And if you want to learn more, as you can see at the top, there's the Chatter Basics badge. Another important daily habit is to become familiar with Lightning Experience, because Lightning is the future. So we suggest do one thing in Lightning every day, whether it's a small thing like updating a record, or it's a cool big thing like creating a whole dashboard. Definitely try to make it a habit to do little things in Lightning and become familiar with it. A great way to learn more is to complete the Admin Lightning Challenge. You can find that on admin.salesforce.com/lightning challenge. And this is short, about 10 different challenges that are easy to complete, but if you do have trouble, there are videos on that website to help you get to the solution. And of course, complete the Lightning Experience Basic Badge on Trailhead. This will have lots of great information for you to understand all the amazing features of Lightning. So with that, we're done with our daily habits, and we're moving on to our weekly habits, which are to explore. Start by exploring all the possibilities on the App Exchange. Understanding and knowing all the different apps that are available to you will be a huge time saver when different departments or users come to you asking or requesting new functionality, because oftentimes there's an app for that. So if you're, for example, talking with your project management team and they're complaining about, I'm using spreadsheets for tracking their projects, you can tell them about some different project tracking apps that you've seen in the App Exchange. If you make it a habit to explore on a weekly basis different apps that are available to you, you'll know solutions when the problem is being presented to you. So it's really great to be familiar with this. You can also subscribe to the App Exchange newsletter, which is a weekly newsletter that will send you app recommendations, insights, and tips. So that's a great way to stay on top of news from App Exchange. And of course, there is a Trailhead badge for that. check out AppExchange Basics badge for more info. So another great place to explore is the Salesforce Success community. And this is the great place, the home for admins in a way, because there are over 2.6 million admins and end users and developers on this platform that are ready to become your friend, to help you answer questions, and help you be successful. So you can go there to ask questions, get answers, submit ideas, join groups. There's lots of cool groups. So there's informational ones, for example, like the Release Readiness Group, which is great to join to get updates and information about the different releases. But there's also fun groups, like, for example, the Why Admins Drink group, where different admins talk about, common funny things they have to do as an admin. Another cool part about the Success community is the Idea Exchange. So the Idea Exchange is a place where you can go if you have an idea for different functionality that you'd like to see and submit that. And you can also upvote or downvote other people's ideas. So if you see something that you think would be really helpful, you can upvote that. And it's great because this is how our product teams decide what features make it into the release. So you're really having a great impact on the future of our product. So as you can see here, Salesforce admin Amanda really loves the Success community. She says it was a total game changer for her as a solo admin. If she ever got stuck on something or needed advice, she could immediately turn to the community, and within minutes she was getting an answer. So definitely make sure to go to success.salesforce.com and start connecting with users and getting help. So the Success community is not the only way to connect with other admins. As I mentioned before, you can join us on social. Admins are very social. So we're on Twitter. As I said, there's the Awesome Admin hashtag, where you can just follow the conversation and connect with other admins. There's also the Ask Force hashtag, which is another great way to get your questions answered really quickly. And of course, we're on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube as Salesforce admins. Join us. So with that, we're ready to move on to our monthly habits, which are to communicate. So we want to start off by communicating with our stakeholders. So just before we get into this, stakeholders are individuals in your organization that have a vested interest in Salesforce. So that could be your sales manager, if you're using Sales Cloud, your head of support, if you're using Service Cloud. Make sure you're meeting with them to ensure the product is as beneficial as it can be. So schedule a standing meeting on their calendar and use this time to share feedback from your users, which you should have plenty of if you're doing Savoir on a daily basis. This is a great time to demo AppExchange apps that you've found that you think could be a great addition or solution to some of their problems. This is also a good time to communicate changes to any business processes. So if there's projects you've been working on that are about to be released, then make sure you're communicating that to your stakeholders. And of course, it's also great for identifying areas of improvement. Having that discussion, two-way conversation with your stakeholders is super important for that. But we also want to be communicating with everyone in the organization, and we want to make sure we're sharing Salesforce successes. So that's whether that's a tip or a trick or a new project that you've released, make sure that you're constantly communicating these updates and these positive stories with your company. So whether that's in a chatter group that you've created or your company newsletter, There's just no such thing as too much communication. It's really important when you're evangelizing Salesforce and making sure it's being successful for your company that you are communicating. Another important monthly habit to develop is to build and foster a relationship with IT. So a great way to do that is to go into your security health check and become a security expert, a Salesforce security expert. With the health check, you can easily identify and fix security vulnerabilities in, the password settings, session settings, network access configuration. This tool is really great. It will tell you what the Salesforce best practices are and compare it to how your Salesforce is set up, and then you can easily make updates to align. It's located in Setup. Definitely go check that out. And then when you're setting your first meeting up with IT, you can use the health check and review this with your IT team, and that will really make them feel comfortable with the Salesforce security settings, seeing that you're an expert at this, you understand, you are coming to them to be aligned with the company's security best practices. This is really great for your long term. So you can also send them to trust.salesforce.com to learn more about Salesforce security. And if you want to dig deeper on this, there's the Security Basics badge on Trailhead, which you can check out. So another important monthly habit is to develop a Salesforce governance. To do that, we suggest hosting monthly governance meetings to help you prioritize requests and align Salesforce initiatives with business needs. This is also a great opportunity for you to lead the discussion on how customer information flows through your org, as well as showcase new features and apps that could increase productivity and help your company be more efficient. Having these meetings will improve business and IT alignment, will improve, of course, the processes and efficiencies, and it will increase the Salesforce value and really make sure that Salesforce is working smoothly within all the other systems that you have. And since governance is really also part of effective change management, we have included the change management badge here, and there's a module on governance specifically that you can see. And last but not least, we definitely suggest you connect with a local user group. This is really important as an admin, especially if you're a solo admin and you're the only admin at your company. Go to your local user group and meet more awesome admins. They might be your mentors or just someone that will help you when you have a question. But there's so much value in networking with individuals who are learning and collaborating and sharing, best practices. You can find your local user group at salesforceusergroups.com. As you can see on the map, there are lots of different user groups, and most likely one near you. So definitely go check that out. So with that, we have completed the monthly habits, and we're moving on to quarterly habits, which are to evaluate. This is probably one of my favorite habits, maybe because it has food involved, but I love this. The idea is that you host a eat and delete luncheon with different teams to evaluate your reports and dashboards and make sure you are cleaning them up and keeping them up to date. So throughout the course of a quarter, different teams will be creating lots of different reports and dashboards and possibly folders, and they themselves might not remember what each report was for. So it's definitely important that we clean them up and we evaluate, if they're still useful. Because the worst thing is trying to look for a report and not being able to find it because there's 4 with the same similar name. So definitely make the time to do this. Another quarterly habit is to review the Salesforce releases. So Salesforce has 3 releases a year, winter, spring, and summer. And so there's a lot of changes coming your way, which is positive because that means there's always lots of new features and improvements that you can take advantage of. So plan for this change. Definitely read the release notes. And you can even read the release notes on your phone. If you have the Salesforce A app, you can access them right from there. A pro tip is to actually print them out and get 2 highlighters, a green and a pink, and then go through and highlight in green any immediate impact on your org, like features that will be already turned on, and then highlight in pink features that will have no immediate impact, but you might be interested in the future, like maybe features in a cloud you haven't adopted yet. That way, when you're going through the release, you're going to feel very comfortable knowing what's coming your way and also what you can look into. You can watch the release readiness live videos. You can also get a pre-release org, which is highly recommended. That way you can take a look at how the org will look like before it actually hits your production org. And then review what sandboxes you'll need to refresh. Another important quarterly habit is to communicate your org health and enhancements. So make sure you're meeting with leadership on a quarterly basis to make sure that they understand what's going on with Salesforce. So that means discussing new features coming your way, understanding how these new features could enhance your processes, preparing a user communication plan so that when users get into the new org, they are comfortable with what they're seeing and not caught unaware. And also make sure to run the org health check on a quarterly basis. Because security changes and best practices change, and you want to make sure you're aligned with best practices. So definitely check on your org health quarterly. So with that, we're moving on to our yearly habits, which are to refresh. So yearly habits are all about you, and we start with refreshing your skills. Set a goal for training and certifications. If you haven't already gotten the Salesforce Administrator cert, make sure that you are studying and learning so that you can go and take that exam and get certified. And if you are certified already, set your goals higher. Look at the Advanced Administrator certification or the Platform App Builder. Or maybe you want to specialize in a cloud. You can do that as well. Just be sure to refresh your skills on a yearly basis. Another way you can do that is by exploring super badges. Super badges are a great way to test your skills and take advantage of bigger real-life challenges. So super badges are really taking the knowledge you've learned from different badges on Trailhead and applying it to the real life and kind of your way to show that you understand how to take that knowledge you're learning and apply it. And it really shows that you're an expert in whatever super badge you earn. And you can also display these on your LinkedIn or on your resume to show your expertise. It's also important to review your training and documentation. So a lot of things probably changed throughout the year in your org if you've been actively administrating it. So you want to make sure that all your documentation reflects these changes. And even look at things like the Salesforce help text. A lot of users use Hover to Discover to understand what data to put where and how. So is it still relevant? Does it still make sense? Take the time to, dive into this, look at it, and update it so that it still makes sense for your end users. I mean, really, your users are your customers, so you want to make sure that they are supported and successful. So if that means running a refresher training for users, definitely do that. If there's new processes that have been put in place, you want to make sure they understand how to do it properly. And lastly, definitely make a plan to attend Dreamforce. Dreamforce is the place for admins to connect. A lot of our admins, meet virtually in the success community or on Twitter, and Dreamforce is their time when they can actually come together, meet in person. It's really like one big Salesforce family reunion, and we definitely recommend you join us there. On top of that, of course, there are theater sessions, breakout sessions, hands-on areas, so much for you to learn from. It's really a valuable experience. You can join the Admins at Dreamforce Success Community group before you attend to start making friends and make sure you have all the tips to be prepared for coming. It is 1 week of lots and lots of content and events and activities, and you want to make sure you have a plan for when you come. And then afterwards, you can catch up on the sessions via YouTube, and you can also find all the admin sessions at bit.ly/df16 admin sessions. So with that, we are coming to the end of our webinar. So just to summarize, we have our daily habits, which are to engage with users and gather feedback. We have our weekly habits, which are to explore things like the App Exchange and the success groups to stay informed. We have our monthly habits, which are to communicate with stakeholders and your company about changes. We have quarterly habits, which are to evaluate your organization and your org health. And we have our yearly habits, which are to refresh your skills, get certified, and update your training documentation. So before I leave you, I do have a little checklist for you. It's Friday. These are 5 things you can get started on today in the afternoon. First, make a list of all the users you think you want to visit for Sabwa next week. Put a 30-minute time block on your calendar to explore things like the App Exchange and the success community. Set a recurring meeting with your stakeholders, and look up your local user group so you can plan to attend that on a monthly basis, and get started with Trailhead. So if you didn't get enough resources already, here are some more. Definitely start by going to admin.salesforce.com. This is your hub, your website, where we post different tips and tricks, blog posts, our weekly podcast. There's admin stories to check out, which are really great. They're people like you that have developed an amazing career as a Salesforce admin, and go there and get some inspiration about how you can further your career as a Salesforce admin. And of course, get started with Trailhead at trailhead.salesforce.com, and join us on more webinars like these, and stay connected with us at Salesforce Admins. So we're now headed to the Success Community Group, admin webinar group, for some questions and answers. Again, that's bit.ly/admin webinar group. Excited to answer all your questions. So thank you. Thank you for joining us on this webinar. We're excited for you to join our community and embark on your admin career.